Hello, it's Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Thursday night slash Friday morning Zoom edition, depending on where in the world you are. I'm back in Thailand. I've got my friend Mitch Waller with me from the Carbon Group and also from Arizona, where I'm from. So looking forward to moving forward with this. I'm going to go ahead and go over the three free information sources I use to find coins to follow throughout the day. We'll talk a little bit about the markets in general. And this one might be short and sweet and hard to beat, so nothing wrong with that. We'll share my screen. We'll start with the Bitcoin chart. And you should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart. And so here we are. We're at 91K. We dipped below 90 briefly and bounced right back up. So 90 might be a support area, at least in the short term. We are like right below the 50 EMA, 50-day EMA, above the 20, still below the 200. So Bitcoin has a ways to go to get back, to get back up to its all-time high, which we had back in October, 126. So we're 38% dip from that. Long way to go. On Ethereum, kind of similar. We've stayed above this 2,500 support. And new support seems to be around 2,700. Similar to Bitcoin, we're hanging at the 20 EMA and close to the 50, but below the 200. And then there was a news item regarding Zcash. And I'm going to go over crypto bubbles and see if it's here. Yeah. Anyway, Mitch, anything to comment about the markets overall before we start looking for trades?
Um, yeah, the Zcash threw a little squirrel into the mix with the developers leaving. And then there's a lot of speculation on what's going to happen with the ruling with the SCOTUS tomorrow with tariffs.
Yeah, SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, and Trump's tariffs. That could be a macroeconomic event. And so be careful. I'm the only trade I have going right now is a Zcash short, based on what Mitch just said. The developers left, and I don't know what's going on with this coin. It's been you know, long, it's been a privacy coin that's been around for quite a while. So not sure how much of an effect it's going to have, but if I could get a quick short out of it, that works for me. But I'll go ahead and
And
show, how I like to follow coins and set up alerts. And you guys can decide if you want to trade on these or, stay out due to the pending Supreme Court ruling, which could have some crazy effects on the markets overall. So we're on crypto bubbles. This is one of the sources I use. And you can see it's mostly red. I'm going to go down here to the day column and sort. And this will show me what's been positive in the last 24 hours. We've got Polygon, a former ticker of Matic. It's mostly older projects. Monero, Tezos, these are all old ones. Solana. Um, yeah, and then Stacks is something I like to trade as well. So let's look at Solana. Got that one set up. This is my day trading layout. If you've been with me a while, you've seen this before. I've been using it for about a year and a half. Got the supply and demand visible range by Lux Algo. It's a free indicator showing me support and resistance. I'm on the 15-minute chart. And RTI, relative trend index, I use for entries and alerts. And when it dips below the 20 and comes back up, that's a dip and a retrace usually. And so we can see that happened yesterday actually. And when it did, got a nice move, almost, yeah, over 3%. As a day trader, I'm looking for about a 1.5% move. I'm at 10x leverage, so 15% for me. I'm satisfied with that. Now we have a fake out here on the RTI on a short. This one went above the 80 and dipped. That's another area of interest for me. But that happened here, and had I taken that short, it would have gone against me about 2.5%. So that would have triggered my automatic trade. I have a third-party software called Carbon that I use for that. It's kind of like 3 commas, but easier to use. Not available to the general public yet, but if you really want to check it out, email me and I'll see what I can do. Um, yeah, so had I taken that short, I'd still be in it. But so usually when I look at the past on these, I try to see what dips and pumps and or dips and retraces and pumps and retraces are happening, and seeing if they were fake outs or if they were valid. And if they're mostly valid, then I'll usually take that trade. I also check Bitcoin, see what it's doing. So I have an alert already on the RTI, but I'll show you how I set that up. Right click on the RTI, add an alert. And for what I like to do, trading both directions, I'm going to enter a channel. 80 on top, 20 on the bottom. Once per bar close, leaves it on all day. And then yeah, these are on until I turn them off. On the 80, if it breaks above the 80 and then dips back down, that triggers the alert, and then that's a potential short. On the lower side, if it goes below 20 and breaks back up, that's a potential long. So these are my favorite trades to make, dips and retraces, and I've had pretty good success with that over the years. On the message, call it what you want. I usually use the information source for my alert name. So, and TradingView remembers the last few that you use. So click on crypto bubbles and notifications, and notifying the app on my phone. Toast notifications to pop up on my laptop. Play a sound also on my laptop, and there's several to choose from. I like this 3 notes reverb, and click create, and you're good to go. But as I indicated already, I had this one going, so I'm not going to do it a second time. So that's Solana off Crypto Bubbles. Let's see. Stacks is another one I like. Stacks does this a lot. As a day trader, I like that kind of price action. So let's go to that one. And I've got my alert set on that one too. So there were some fake outs on this dip, like right here. It broke above, but didn't follow through. So that would have been, yeah, I would have been made probably 3 or 4 additional purchases. And then at this point, may have gotten out. When you make an additional purchase, it lowers your entry price on a long. So that's just off the top of my head if I would have gotten out there. But there's multiple fake outs here. Though this one looks like the one that went through. So yeah, broke above here, get in on the trade, and 5% move. That's a great day trade. And yeah, there's a few fake outs on the shorts too, dipping slightly below 80 and then bounce back up. If I see like this, I don't usually take that trade. If it dips below, then breaks back up, and this triggers the alert, but then the actual price, the actual indicator is still pointing up. I don't usually take that. I might look at the candle action and see what's going on and Bitcoin as well. But yeah, generally that's a fake out. So that is stacks as a day trade. Now I also have a swing trade layout. I don't use it much, but I'll share it with you. Um, Go to the 1 hour chart. I use the same alert for support and resistance, or the same indicator for support and resistance. And I've added this Trendilo LSMA for confirmation and the SuperTrend for entries for alerts. So at the moment, we're coming out of, we're at about the little over halfway. We've got a buy signal, and the Trendilo is pointing up. We've got retrace room about 6%, 7% on the swing trade. I don't know if that's enough for me. I'll look for 10% and higher on my swing trades. And I often do those on Coinbase as spot trades. So if you do want to monitor this, maybe catch the next buy signal, you can right click on the super trend, add an alert. It defaults to this direction change, so that you can just trade both directions if you want. I don't do that on swing trades very often. But here's the buy for a long and a sell for a short. Choose which one you like. And then I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, click message, in which you might want to use crypto bubbles and notifications. You might want to use a different sound. I usually use handbell for my swing trades. That's how you do that, but I'm not going to set any swing trades today. I may start again next week. The market's dipping below, as low as they have, below 90K on Bitcoin, and some of the other altcoins have gone down even more. This could be a good time to get into swing trades, but I'll leave that up to you. I'm a far better day trader than swing trader, so. All right, so that was stacks and crypto bubbles. Let's go to the other free source I like, and that's CoinGecko. We'll see some overlap with what we saw in crypto bubbles. And sort by its 24 hours. You can sort shorts as well. You can see what's going down a lot on both this one and crypto bubbles. But for now, I'll go ahead and stick with what's going up. Polygon, formerly known as Matic, has had a nice move. We mentioned Monero earlier. And then they fade pretty quickly into just small percentages and some coins I haven't heard of. So let's look at Polygon. Yeah. And you can set up a watch list on TradingView for coins that you frequently trade. That's what I've got here. I started trading on Binance, many years ago. Now I'm on Bybit, so I just sort of blend them. So I have a lot of Binance charts on here, but most of the charts are the same or very similar between the exchanges. All right, Polygon, we are in the red zone on resistance, though I don't let that discourage me on the 15-minute chart. I tend to look at support and resistance as a hard, barrier on the hour chart. And my computer's being slow. It looks like it's in resistance on the hour chart as well. So this could be a good place for a short. And right now we're above the 80 on the RTI. So if it breaks below the 80, that could be a sign that it's going to dip a little bit, something like this. So you might want to set an alert for dip below the 80. And then the breaks below the 20, the last two times it happened, the coin took off. So that happened here. And 2% move. You stayed in longer, it would have been a wild ride, but you got a almost 10% move over a little over a day period. And a better entry down here as it breaks above the 20. Yeah. So yeah, these are encouraging. When I see a break below the 20, the last two moves were pretty good. Um, and the last dip was here. And I don't know. Maybe that gets me out. Maybe it doesn't. 1.5%. Yeah, probably does. So I would have picked up a little short move there too, had I been making that trade. So quick review on the alert, right click on the RTI, add an alert. On the second condition here, entering a channel, 80 and 20, and you know the rest. So let's go to the swing trade option on the hour chart. We are at resistance, as I showed earlier. It's a buy signal on the SuperTrend. The Trendilo is pointing almost straight up. So if you want to go to a longer time distance or time, yeah, still resistance on the 4 hour and the 8 hour. On the day chart, there's plenty of room to retrace, but it's going to take a while. So to get back to the red zone here, 101%, 118 days. That's longer than I want to stay in a trade, but if you like longer swing trades, that might be something you'd be interested in. All right. Any questions on Polygon? Okay, we'll look at
Nope.
one. We'll look at one more. Let's look at Monero XMR. It's an older project. And it's not on my list anymore. Huh. So I'll type that in here. And where can we find it? Oh, it is on Bybit. All right, so it hit the red zone. Well, that has actually established a red zone. Yeah. And then dip back down. It's hanging around the 50 on the RTI. So it can go either way. This is where you would want to set an alert to catch whichever direction it does go. And then go from there. The last time it dipped below the 20 and came back up, it made a really nice move. That happened here. And it made this move, 8.5 or 8%. And then when it dipped back down below the 80, which happened right about here, it's down to about 2%, which is a winning trade for me. So, I like this setup here. So I'll go ahead and set an alert here. XMR, entering a channel, 80 on top, 20 on the bottom, once per bar close, message, coin gecko, Notifications, 3 notes reverb, click create, and that alert should show up. Yeah, right there. All right, let's go for a swing trade, see what that looks like. Well, this is kind of interesting. It's showing a sell on the SuperTrend. It's coming out of resistance, so I like that. But Trendilo LSMA is not confirming, and the candle action, last 2 hour candles are green. So we've got some contradictory information here. Can maybe set a price alert down here below the green candles, and once it hits that, that might be a time to get in, maybe right around here. And 5.5%. I don't like that. It's not enough for me on a swing trade. Let's see what the 4 hour chart says. Yeah, don't like that. 8 hour also at resistance. So if you're looking for a spot trade, this isn't going to really help you. This could be, you could set an alert on SuperTrend, catch the next sell, click create, and then that will trigger because everything else is in place for a sell on this. Trendilo is pointing down, it's at resistance. And if you stayed in, probably the alert would probably kick in around here. And that's 38% in 125 days is not enough. I think I would pass on this as a swing. So, yeah. All right, we will look at one more option, which is the coin market cap crypto community sentiment. So this one is more what people just think, what they like and what they don't like in this group. Sentiment was an important part of the company I used to work with, Altcoin Alert. So I still like it, and that's where I found the Zcash trade that I was just talking to Mitch about, and took that short. Maybe we should look at that in some detail. I didn't really follow what I just showed you guys on the technicals. I took it more based on a news item. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe I'll look at this as a more technical. Yeah, because it's in the middle. It crashed pretty hard from the news, then bounced up, then went sideways. So I've noticed when something crashes hard, then bounces and then goes sideways, it usually dips again. So that's what I'm looking for it to do. Not necessarily a lot, but if it dips again a couple percent, then I'm good to go. Um, but yeah, you might want to set an alert on this, maybe both directions. Is a swing. I think it's too uncertain to do this as a
50-50.
swing, but on the hour chart, it's coming out of the green zone, buy signal, Trendilo. So it's all everything's in place technically for a long, retracing back up, 20% in 2 days. That's a great swing trade. Whether it does that or not, I don't know. You might want to follow the news on this and see see if they get a crew of developers back, whether it's the old one or a new one. But this one's interesting, both technically and news-wise. All right, let's look at, we'll find one more over here and we'll wrap it up. All right, Jasmine is a coin I like. It does some of that Consolidation, uh, ICP I like shorting. XRP I like to trade. Solana as well. I've got an alert on XRP now. Link I've gone back and forth on. Let's look at Jasmine. I haven't looked at this one in a while. Okay, it just dipped below the 80. Bitcoin is mostly consolidating, moving sideways. So this one could be ready for a short. It's got retraced down to here, 12%. That's a great day trade if you stay in that whole time. So not financial advice, but this is ready for a short now if you want to take it. I'm in one now with Zcash, so I don't like having two going the same direction on my day trading accounts. I do it occasionally, but not very often. Um, or you could wait for, if this is a fake out, it will break above the 80 again. It'll go up and then dip back down again. That might be a better entry. So either one would be worthwhile. On the swing trading layout, you've got Trendilo going almost straight up and then a sell on SuperTrend, but the candle action's been trending down the last few hours. And so this Trendilo should turn around pretty quickly. 25%. That's a great swing trade. Actually, what's the time on that though? Yeah, 25% in 3 days. So we love that. That's potentially a good swing trade on the short side. I don't usually talk about swing trades that are shorts, but they just seem to be availing themselves today. So, all right. Well, are there any coins you want to look at, Mitch?
The I usually trade Ethereum, Solana, and then I'll pop in either Sui or Chainlink.
Okay.
So you covered most of them already.
We could go look at Link. Come on, Link. And it's stuck in the middle on the RTI and on the chart. So yeah, set up your alert to go either direction. Then after it makes up its mind, that'd be time to get in. Um, when it dipped below the 20 and came back up, most recently, I was right about here. Yeah, but 1.18%. Probably still be in that trade. Um, a quick look at SUI. I think it's more of a short at the moment. Yeah, 2 or 3%, but it's kind of hanging around the middle too, like Link was. Looks a little different, but kind of hard to figure out a direction from that layout or that candle action. So
Yeah,
you might want to wait for a more prominent move.
just
All
kind of
right.
hovering around the 50 line on the RSI.
Yeah. Yeah. I used the RSI for a long time. My friend Frank turned me on to this RTI. I found it was a little more precise, but It's very similar to the RSI. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap it up here. Mitch, thanks for joining me. If
Very
you're
good.
watching on
My
the
pleasure. Thank you.
if you're watching on the recording, please check out the pinned comment. It helps fund the channel. And I should be back Monday night / Tuesday morning. You guys have a good weekend. See you, Mitch.
Thanks.